Donna Summer ruled the dance floor as the undisputed queen of disco. Yet few people know the real drama that unfolded for her three girls once the beat finally faded away. One daughter chose to vanish completely from the public eye. Another discovered her destiny in the Hollywood Hills, while the baby of the family blazed her own trail in the music industry. Their journeys took wild twists you would never see coming. And the untold truth about Donna's legacy is bound to leave you stunned. Let's start with the eldest, Mimi Dohler, who entered the world back in 1973 in Munich, Germany. While her birth certificate reads Natalia Pia Melanie Summer, everyone just calls her Mimi. Being Donna's firstborn meant Mimi was thrown right into the chaotic storm of her mother's exploding fame during the wild 70s. Right around the time Mimi arrived, Donna's career was skyrocketing across the European music scene, gaining traction fast. Consequently, this infant spent her earliest days living out of suitcases, tagging along on tour with a superstar in the making. Following Donna's split from Helmut Summer in 1976, it became a duo act, just Donna and tiny Mimi bouncing between recording booths and their front door. When Donna eventually tied the knot with Brooklyn Sudano, Mimi didn't just get a devoted stepdad. She also gained two little sisters to spoil rotten. Even with such a bizarre backdrop for a childhood, family insiders insist Donna fought hard to keep Mimi's upbringing as grounded and normal as humanly possible. To the public, Donna was this larger-than-life disco goddess. But to Mimi, she was just mom, the woman tucking her in and humming lullabies after dark. In stark contrast to the matriarch, Mimi shunned the limelight, easily becoming the most elusive and private of the three siblings. While her little sisters dove headfirst into the entertainment biz, Mimi decided to steer her ship in a completely different direction. By 1995, at 22 years old, she exchanged vows with Richard "Rick" Dohler, a union that made headlines in the local papers. The ceremony featured a tear-jerking moment where both her biological dad Helmut and her stepdad Bruce walked her down the aisle arm in arm. It was a powerful visual of unity, proving just how deeply adored Mimi was by every parent figure in her life. With two fathers giving their blessings side by side, Mimi shifted her entire focus toward building her own marriage and family life. Through the years, she and Rick welcomed 4 kids, officially upgrading Donna to the title of grandmother multiple times over. Donna absolutely reveled in her role as Nana, once famously describing those grandkids as the jewels in her crown, a true testament to her pride. These days, Mimi's brood is all grown up, with the eldest now navigating their 20s, while Mimi remains a fiercely dedicated, hands-on mother, mirroring Donna's own parenting style. Despite her strict policy of avoiding the cameras, Mimi has occasionally stepped out of the shadows to pay tribute to her legendary mother. Back in April 2013, barely a year after we lost the icon, Donna Summer was finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, posthumously. Breaking her silence, Mimi stood tall on stage alongside her sisters and stepfather to accept the prestigious award in Donna's name. Fast forward a decade to 2023, and the family found another reason to celebrate Donna, this time through the lens of a documentary. HBO dropped Love to Love You, Donna Summer, an intimate deep dive into the star's artistry and private world, co-directed by none other than her daughter Brooklyn. While Brooklyn called the shots behind the camera, Mimi agreed to step in front of the lens to share pieces of her own narrative. It was in this film that Mimi courageously dropped a bombshell, revealing a dark and painful secret she had buried for decades. She revealed that as a child, she went through a deeply traumatic experience involving inappropriate conduct by an adult linked to the family staff, an admission that deeply moved the public. Mimi had been silently carrying this heavy trauma right in the middle of the glittering, glamorous world her mother inhabited. During the interviews, Mimi admitted she never breathed a word of this to Donna while she was alive, mainly to shield her mother from the pain.
"I don't hold it against my mom,"
Mimi stated. acknowledging that Donna would have been absolutely devastated, as it was a nightmare scenario her mother couldn't possibly fathom. By finally voicing her truth, Mimi hoped to find her own healing while offering a lifeline to others. A move that took immense guts. Donna's most reclusive daughter made herself incredibly vulnerable on a global stage, honoring the very spirit of honesty and love that her mother always championed. Then there's the middle child, Brooklyn Sudano, born on January 5, 1981, who seemed to have entertainment coursing through her veins from day one. As an infant, Brooklyn was literally rocked to sleep backstage, while her mother commanded sold-out arenas just a few feet away. Even her name carries a certain star power and history. Her dad, Bruce Sudano, hailed from Brooklyn, New York, and famously played in the 70s band Brooklyn Dreams. Donna and Bruce settled on the name Brooklyn as a permanent tribute to Bruce's origins and his musical brotherhood. Brooklyn later laughed about it, noting that her parents were so obsessed with the name that she was getting it regardless of whether she turned out to be a boy or a girl. You can only imagine the sheer level of creativity flowing through that house when your mother is Donna Summer and your father is a prolific songwriter. Even naming a child became an art project for them. Brooklyn came of age right at the peak of Donna's 80s dominance, spending her childhood jet-setting with her parents on tour. Unlike her older sister Mimi, who was kept a bit more under wraps, little Brooklyn essentially grew up with a front-row seat to the circus of fame. Whenever school breaks rolled around, she wasn't just watching. She was often up there on stage making cameos alongside her mom. Just imagine a pint-sized Brooklyn busting a move or belting out a note next to the queen herself under those blinding stage lights. It's safe to say those electric moments were the spark that ignited Brooklyn's own burning passion for the performing arts. While Donna must have been thrilled to share that magic with her daughter, she was also pragmatic, insisting that Brooklyn prioritize her education so she'd have a safety net beyond music. Following her high school graduation, Brooklyn made a move that left many industry insiders scratching their heads, considering her lineage. Instead of diving straight into show business, she packed her bags for the South and enrolled at the prestigious Vanderbilt University in Tennessee. For a short while, she managed to blend in, living the life of a standard undergrad with late-night study sessions and anonymity. But the allure of the creative arts was impossible to ignore forever. After logging a couple of years in academia, Brooklyn decided to follow her gut, transferring to the renowned Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute in New York City to formally study acting. Trading the lecture hall for the theater stage was a massive transition. But looking back, it was undeniably the correct pivot for her future. Once she touched down in New York, it didn't take long for Brooklyn's raw potential to catch fire. The legendary Ford Models Agency scooped her up, launching a lucrative modeling career filled with glossy magazine features. Standing tall and inheriting her mother's striking, ethereal beauty, Brooklyn was an absolute natural, commanding attention every time the camera shutter clicked. However, despite her success in fashion, her heart was steadfastly set on the craft of acting. By the time the mid-2000s rolled around, she began securing significant roles, fueled by a fierce determination to succeed on her own talent rather than her last name. One of her major breakthroughs came when she was cast as a series regular on the popular ABC sitcom My Wife and Kids, portraying the character Vanessa Scott Kyle during the show's final seasons. Viewers who were oblivious to her famous family tree simply saw a gifted young actress who possessed sharp comedic instincts and an undeniable on-screen magnetism. That role opened the floodgates, leading to a spot in the action-packed series Taken, appearances in movies like Rain, and a recent stint in the gripping thriller series Cruel Summer. Brooklyn had effectively silenced the naysayers, proving she was far more than just the daughter of the legendary Donna Summer. She had established herself as a versatile powerhouse in the industry, and as she matured, her ambitions expanded to the other side of the lens. She began dipping her toes into the worlds of directing and producing, driven by a desire to craft narratives and shape stories rather than simply appearing in them. All of this professional evolution paved the way for what would become one of the most significant undertakings of her entire career. In the year 2023, Brooklyn stepped up as co-director for the HBO documentary Love to Love You, Donna Summer, collaborating with the Oscar-winning visionary Roger Ross Williams. For Brooklyn, helming this documentary was not just another job on her resume. It was a deeply emotional and personal pilgrimage. She described the film to the press as a true labor of love, emphasizing that the core of her mother's existence was always rooted in love itself. It was about spreading joy and facilitating healing. And Brooklyn committed her soul to revealing the private sides of Donna that the tabloids and fans never got to witness. She showcased the devoted matriarch, the loving wife, and the complex pioneer who harbored fears, vulnerabilities, and aspirations that extended far beyond the glitter of the disco ball. While the film served as a comprehensive tour through Donna's biography, the production process sent Brooklyn on her own transformative emotional odyssey. Reflecting on the experience later, she admitted that co-directing the piece was one of the most profound experiences of her life, noting that it fundamentally changed her. She confessed that she emerged from the editing room as a different woman, filled with gratitude, because she felt her mother would have been overjoyed to see her truth told so authentically. Fascinatingly, while she was in the thick of creating this tribute, Brooklyn was navigating a major life chapter of her own. She entered the realm of motherhood, raising a child with her husband, Mike McLaughlin, whom she has been happily married to since 2006. Brooklyn has been open about how stepping into the role of a mother deepened her appreciation and understanding of Donna in ways she never expected. In the years following Donna's passing, Brooklyn often caught herself asking the rhetorical question, how did Mom handle all of this? Particularly the balance of stardom and parenting. Since she couldn't just pick up the phone and ask Donna, the process of making the documentary provided the answers and closure she desperately needed. She came to the realization that despite a chaotic, jet-setting career, Donna always prioritized her family, providing Brooklyn with a solid blueprint for her own journey as a parent. During her press tours, Brooklyn mentioned how empowering it was to look back and see how her mother managed to be a global superstar while remaining present and grounded for her children. Today, Brooklyn is actively applying those generational lessons with her own daughter, likely continuing the family traditions. One can easily imagine her humming the same lullabies Donna used to sing, and passing down the unshakable confidence and kindness that Donna instilled in all her girls. As it stands, Brooklyn Sudano is 44 years old, continuing to grace the screen as an actress while actively seeking out her next big directing challenge. She has traveled an incredible distance from the little girl dancing in the wings. Today, peers respect her as an elegant, thoughtful creative who remains incredibly down-to-earth. Moving on to the next sibling, we have Amanda Sudano, who arrived in the world on August 11, 1982. Growing up as the baby of the bunch, Amanda was fiercely protected by her older sisters, but was also the recipient of immense affection from Donna. While Brooklyn had her moments dancing in the spotlight and Mimi watched from the sidelines, little Amanda received a different kind of exclusive access. She spent precious hours in the recording booth with her parents. Her father, Bruce Sudano, maintained a home studio and encouraged the kids to experiment with music after their homework was done. Amanda vividly recalls the memories of recording her very own tracks on cassette tapes when she was barely out of preschool. She laughs about it now, admitting those early recordings were just silly, non-rhyming ramblings about her daily adventures at school. But they were crucial. The most important takeaway was that her parents were fostering her creative spirit from the very beginning, treating her ideas with validity. In many respects, Amanda's trajectory was shaped by witnessing the sheer happiness that music brought to her mother's life. The household was constantly filled with song, often turning into family jam sessions where a tiny Amanda would belt out tunes about her toys, while Donna and Bruce beamed with pride. Those innocent moments in the home studio were the humble, unpolished beginnings of the woman who would grow up to be a formidable singer-songwriter in her own right. As the years rolled by, it became undeniably clear that melody and rhythm weren't just hobbies for Amanda. They were woven into her very genetic code. However, she didn't just walk in her mother's disco ball-lit footsteps. Instead, she carved out her own sonic path, gravitating towards an eclectic fusion of folk storytelling, deep soul, and modern pop sensibilities. Back in 2005, while navigating her early 20s, Amanda joined forces with a gifted artist named Abner Ramirez, though their paths had actually crossed years prior during a church gathering in Nashville. Yet, it took until 2005 for the sparks to truly fly, igniting a partnership that was destined to be both creatively electric and deeply romantic. As they began crafting lyrics and melodies side by side, they christened their duo Johnnyswim, a moniker that comes with a surprisingly eccentric backstory. The name stems from a long-running inside joke within the Sudano family residence. It turns out that as a kid, Amanda shared a common struggle with a neighborhood boy named Johnny. Neither of them could stay afloat in the water. To poke fun at the situation, her family used to chant, "Swim, Johnny, swim," whenever the poor kid had a lesson, secretly hoping the encouragement might trick a hesitant little Amanda into diving into the deep end herself. Fast forward years later, while hunting for the perfect stage name, Amanda shared that childhood memory. Abner loved the vibe of it immediately, and just like that, Johnnyswim was officially established. That playful chant transformed into their professional identity, representing resilience and the courage to dive in, all while serving as an unforgettable title for their act. The connection between Amanda and Abner went far deeper than just chord progressions and harmonies. They were falling head over heels for one another. They tied the knot in 2009, cementing a bond that became the band's beating heart. And by 2010, they dropped their debut EP, kickstarting a wild ride that elevated them from intimate coffee shop sets to massive nationwide tours. Their signature sound, defined by Amanda's velvety vocal power, blended with Abner's soulful guitar work and harmonies, quickly began to attract a cult-like following. They didn't hold back, channeling their rawest emotions into tracks exploring the complexities of romance, their spiritual journey, and the nomadic lifestyle of touring musicians. They hit the jackpot with their track Home, which skyrocketed in popularity after being chosen as the opening theme for Chip and Joanna Gaines' smash hit HGTV series Fixer Upper. Overnight, millions of households were tuning in weekly to hear Amanda croon about coming home, often without realizing they were listening to the daughter of a music legend. And the Gaines family themselves became massive supporters of the duo. Then, in 2021, Chip and Joanna's Magnolia Network premiered a reality series titled Home on the Road with Johnnyswim, documenting the chaotic and charming lives of Amanda, Abner, and their crew as they crisscrossed the country. It offered fans a backstage pass into their reality, showcasing the delicate juggling act of rocking stages while raising a brood of children on a tour bus, proving the music doesn't stop just because diapers need changing. Audiences quickly realized that the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Amanda possessed that same magnetic ability to hold a crowd in the palm of her hand, just like her mother. However, rather than the shimmering mirror balls of the disco age, Amanda's domain was the gritty authenticity of folk clubs and sprawling festival lawns, where her soulful essence truly radiated. On the domestic front, the dynamic duo has fully embraced the role of parenthood, adding to their own family tree. They are now raising 3 beautiful kids, Joaquin, Luna, and Paloma. And it is easy to imagine that if Donna Summer were still with us, she would be glowing with pride over her 3 newest grandbabies. Talk about a moment of history repeating itself in the sweetest way possible. Amanda's little ones have been known to crash the stage from time to time, sporting giant noise-canceling headphones to guard their ears while waving to the crowds. It is a fresh generation cutting their teeth on the tour bus lifestyle, mirroring the exact childhood Amanda experienced while traveling the globe with Donna decades prior. Amanda manages the chaos of motherhood and artistry with effortless grace, frequently penning new lyrics during the kids' nap times, or squeezing in work backstage while a sitter keeps an eye on the brood. She has often cited her mother in interviews as the blueprint for balancing a creative career with family life, recalling how Donna insisted on bringing her daughters along on tour to ensure they stayed a tight-knit unit. Now, Amanda replicates that philosophy with her own offspring, effectively building a mobile sanctuary regardless of what city they wake up in. She believes her mother's legacy proved that you don't have to sacrifice presence and love to pursue a passion. It simply requires a bit of ingenuity and a whole lot of dedication. Even with the weight of the Summer legacy, Amanda never felt strong-armed into entering the music business. Actually, she has revealed that her mother was quite wary of the spotlight and the heavy toll that fame can take on a person's soul. Donna knew firsthand how the industry tries to trap artists in a box, like the disco queen label she fought against. So she urged her children to move at their own pace and stay true to their authentic selves. Amanda told an interviewer that the pressure was non-existent from her mom's side. If anything, her mother applied pressure in the opposite direction to keep them grounded. Simply put, Donna wanted her daughter to discover her own unique sonic identity, rather than becoming a carbon copy of someone else. This guidance granted Amanda the liberty to cultivate a distinct vibe with Johnnyswim, one that stands worlds apart from the glittering disco beats of the 1970s. The strategy worked wonders. Johnnyswim has built a fiercely loyal fan base and dropped several successful records over the last 10 years, including a self-titled masterpiece in 2022. Amanda's poignant songwriting abilities and emotive vocal delivery have cemented her status as a powerhouse artist, standing tall on her own merit. Now navigating her early 40s, Amanda Sudano Ramirez shows no signs of slowing down, continuing to record fresh tracks and hit the road with Johnnyswim, all while managing her bustling young household. Her approachable, grounded demeanor has endeared her to fans everywhere, often trading witty banter with Abner on stage and opening up with touching anecdotes about the real-life moments that birth their songs.